بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. This is Stat 101 Final Exam Term 232. Let us solve the exam together. First part, multiple choice questions. Given a population parameter or two populations. Population 1 has a mean of 500 and standard deviation of 100. So you can say that this is a mu 1 and this is sigma 1. Population 2 has a mean of 20,000, so this is mu 2, and standard deviation, this is sigma 2. We need the coefficient of variation for the two populations. The formula for the coefficient of variation, it is sigma, the standard deviation, over mu times 100%. So coefficient variation 1 would be 100 over 500 times 100%. And if you put this in the calculator, you will find it 20%. And coefficient of variation 2 would be the standard deviation of population 2, which is 5,000, over the mean of population 2, which is 20,000 times 100%. And using the calculator, this is 25%. So the answer is A. If two people are asked to list their choices of favorite vacation spot from among beach, mountains, theme parks. So we will ask two peoples about their favorite choice, B, M, or TP. What would be the sample space? You can think, if you use tree diagram, you can think of this experiment like this. The first person will choose one of these three, either B, M, or T, P. And once he made his choice, the second person will select one of these three again. So there are three selections for the first person and three selections for the second person. So we will have 9 selections for both of them, different 9 selections. This is similar to tossing a coin, but not 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 2 coins, or rolling 2 dice, 6 by 6, but this is 3 by 3. So we can write the sample space as BB, BM, BTB, or MB, MM, MTB. So it's clear that the answer is part C. In a pack of 52 playing cards, 26 cards are red, 26 are black. 2 cards are drawn randomly without replacement. Without replacement means we do not put the first card back. So we select the first card and keep it with us. So what is the probability that both cards are black? Let us solve it one step by step. So the first step, select a first card. What is the probability that the first card is black? The number of black cards over the total number of cards. This would be the probability of selecting a black card. The experiment is without replacement, so we selected a black card and keep it with us. Now, what is the probability that the second card is also black? Now, how many cards are there? 51 because we selected one. And how many black cards? 25 because we selected a black card in the first time. So this would be the probability. That's the answer. And if you multiply this using the calculator, you will find that the answer is 0.289. So this is the correct, sorry, 2451. So this is the correct answer. The following probability distribution has been assessed for daily flights from Riyadh to Mecca. Okay. Flights and probabilities. What is the probability of having at least two flights on a given day? So probability that X is at least 2 means greater than or equal to 2. At least 2 means 2 or 3 or 4. So X is greater than or equal to 2. So you can find the probability by adding probability of 2 plus probability of 3 plus probability of 4, or you say 1 minus probability of 0 minus probability of 1. So it is in fact 1 minus 0.3, because probability of 0 plus probability of 1 is 0.3. You can say like this if you like, both are similar. So the answer is 0.7, which is part C. A random variables follows the binomial distribution N18 P.3. The variance. The variance is sigma square, and it is N times P times Q for the binomial. So this is 18 times 0.3, which is P, and Q is 1 minus P, so 1 minus 0.3, which is 0.7. If you multiply using the calculator, you will find that the answer is 3.78. For a standardized normal distribution, Z means Z, the probability that Z is greater than 0.95 is equal to what? Well, this is the normal distribution, Z, and this is 0, and here somewhere 0.95, and he is asking for this probability. Z is greater than 0.95. Well, I have the table of the normal distribution, but the table gives me only this area from 0 to 0.95. So to find probability that Z is greater than 0.95, I write it 0.5, because the area to the right of 0 is 0.5 and the area to the left of 0 is 0.5. So 0.5 minus this number, which I can find from the table at Z equals to 0.95. So I go to the table, and Z is 0.95. So this is 0.9, and here 0.95. So it is 0.3, 0.3289, 0.3289. So what is 0.3289? This is the probability that Z is between 0 and 0.95. So 0.5 minus 0.3289, the answer would be 0.1711. So that's the correct choice. For a normal distribution, the proportion of the total area under the normal curve within plus and minus 1 standard deviation of the mean is approximately. So a normal distribution, we have a normal distribution, whether it's X or Z or whatever he didn't say. The proportion of the total area under the normal curve within plus and minus 1 standard deviation. So he means plus or minus 1 standard deviation. So you go from the center, 1 standard deviation to the right and 1 standard deviation to the left. So he's asking about this proportion. What is this? So we have from the empirical rule that in a normal distribution, approximately 68% lies within 1 standard deviation from the mean. So that's the correct answer. Which of the following is true in a normal distribution? Mean equals the mode and the median, yes. All of them. This doesn't have to be zero. This is X bar, okay? Yeah, or mu, because it's population. So this is a mu. And the interval he was talking about here, mu plus or minus 1 second. Now here, which of the following is true? The mean equals the mode. Yes, all of them are here. This is the mean, and it is the mode, the highest point, and it is the median. So this is correct. Mode equals the median. Yes, all the three are here. Mean divides the distribution into two equal parts. Yes, 50% to the right, 50% to the left. So all of the above are correct. The population mean, so this is a mu, for a random variable is 124. A random sample of 8, so this is n, from the population results in the following sampled values. So these are the values of the sample. What is the sampling error? The definition of the sampling error of the mean, it is x bar minus mu. So I need to find x bar and subtract from mu. Well, x bar is summation x over n, and n here is 8. So we add all of these numbers, 98 plus, and we find that their total is 971. So the mean is, the x bar is 121.375. So the sampling error would be 121.375 minus mu, which is 124, and the answer would be negative 2.625. So the correct answer is B, negative 2.625. In a population of university professors, 45% of professors prefer afternoon classes. If a random sample of 100 professors is taken from this population, so this is N, what is the probability of P bar less than or equal to 0.49? So in a population, so 45% is P, is the population proportion. And he is asking what is the probability that the sample proportion is less than or equal to 0.49. To find this probability, we need to change it to Z, change B bar to Z. And we know the relation, we know that Z is equal to P bar minus P, which is the mean of the sample proportion, over square root of P1 minus P over N. That's the formula where P is the population proportion and B bar is the sample proportion. So Z for 0.49 would be 0.49 minus P, which is 0.45, over square root of 0.45 times 1 minus 0.45, which is 0.55, over n, which is 100. If we put this in the calculator, we'll find that the answer is 0.8. So this probability now is equal to probability that P bar minus B over this would be Z, and 0.49 minus over, which is this one, will equal to 0.8. So we need to find the probability that Z is equal to 0.8. I have the table of Z, and the table gives me this area. So if this is 0.8, then from 0 to 0.8, I can find it from the table, but I need less than or equal to 0.8. So I need all of this, all of this. So it is 0.5, which is this one, plus the number I get from the table, which will give me from 0 to 0.8. So let us go to the table and put Z equals to 0.8. What is the answer? 0.8, so this one, 0.2881. So 0.2881 If we add them, we get 0.7881. So the correct answer is A. Suppose the monthly spending of families is approximately normally distributed with mean 5,000 and the standard deviation 500. What is the probability that a randomly selected family from the population will spend between these two? So he is asking the probability that X, which is the random variable, is between these two values. And it is normally distributed, so we can change it to Z. To change it to Z, we divide 4,500 minus mu, which is 5,000, over sigma, which is 500. So it is X minus mu over sigma. This is Z. And X minus mu over sigma will give you Z. And then 6,000 minus 5,000 over 500. And this would be probability that Z is between -1 and 2. And to find this probability, again, I have the table of Z. This is the 0. From -1 to 2, I need all of this area. Well, this area is the probability from 0 to 2. I can find it from the table. And this area is equal to the probability from 0 to 1. So in fact, I look at 1 and at 2 and add them together to get this probability. So at 1, this is 1. So the probability is 0.3413. 0.3, I'll add them in the calculator at once. 0.3413 plus. At 2, this is the probability 0.4772. So you can write the answer here. If you like, you can say 0.3413 plus 0.4772, and the answer would be 0.8185. So the correct answer is C. The margin of error of a 95% confidence interval for the population mean with the population standard deviation 15 and sample size 100 of a normal distribution is. Well, the margin of error, we know the confidence interval consists of X bar plus or minus the margin of error, which equal to the critical number, which is Z in this case, times the standard error, which is sigma over square root of n. So how to find the critical value if the confidence interval is 90%? Well, the confidence interval is always here, this one. So this is 90%. So if I want to find Z, this is Z, which is the critical value, I divide 0.9 over 2, it would be 0.45. It will give me this area. And I look to 0.45 inside the table, I will get Z. So 0.45 now is an area inside the table. I have the area and I need the Z value. So I don't have Z, I have the area. I have this area, which is 0.45, and I need Z. So I'll start searching for 0.45. Okay, I have here 4.44, 4.45. I go to the right, I have 0.4495, 0.4505. In the middle, I have 0.45. So it's 1.645. So 1.645 is Z in this case. The critical value is 1.645. So this is 1.645 times sigma, which is 15, over square root of 100, which is 10. If you multiply these two, you will find that the answer is 2.4675. So the correct answer is part A. A box containing 7 green balls, 8 red balls. A red ball is randomly drawn from the box and then returned to the box, so with replacement. What is the probability that a red ball will be drawn on the second selection? Well, if you return the ball to the box, if it is with replacement, so we still have how many balls? 7 and 8. If you add 7 and 8, we still have 15 balls in the box. So when we select a red ball for the second time, the probability will be 8 over 15 because we still have 8 red balls because we returned the first ball. So the answer is 8 over 15. The last one, a study by the Saudi Food Authority revealed that 40% of Riyadh citizens like traditional food, 30% like fast food, 20% like both. What is the percentage of people who like traditional or? Or means zero point 0.4, which is traditional, okay, plus zero point 0.3, which is fast food, minus the intersection, which is zero point 0.2. So that's the probability of the union, or means union. Probability of A plus probability of B minus the intersection. So the answer would be 0 0.5. And that's the answer for this part. Second part, answer the following questions. Question 1, a random sample of the miles driven by 10 rental car customers is shown. So these are 10. Compute the median. Well, to compute the median, I need to arrange these numbers from smallest to largest. So 18 is the first number, and then I have 20 twice, 20, 20, and 27, 29, and then 30, 33, 35, 39, and finally 45 to check 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5. I have 10 numbers, so that's correct. I did not forget anything. If you want the median is in the middle. So the median is between 29 and 30. So I can say immediately that the median is 29.5. But if you want to find it using the the position, I is n over 2, so 10 over 2, which is 5. If I is a number, you go to 5.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's between 29 and 30. So you say that MD is 29 plus 30 over 2, which is 29.5. Find quartile, first quartile. First quartile is a Q1, and it is the median of this part, the left part, 5 numbers. So this is the median of them. So this is in fact Q1, easily, very easy. But if you want to follow the find I first, I is the position of the first quartile. 25% are to the left of the first quartile. So I multiply P 25.25, 25% times 10 times n. So I have 0.25 times n will give you what? Will give you, let me do it. Of course, it is 10 over 4, 2.5, but just to check, yeah, it is 2.5. When I is 2.5, you round it up to the first positive number or integer. So 3, so 1, 2, 3, it is the third number. So Q1 is 20. You can find it directly, as I told you, or from here, no problem. But the percentile, you have to follow this method. I need to find P60, which is the 60th percentile. So I need I is 0.6, which is 60 over 100 times 10, and this is 6. So it is not, if you have 6, you have to go to 6.5. So it is the entry, or yeah, the entry in the 6.5 position. So here 5, 6, 7. So it is between 30 and 33. So P60 is 30 plus 33 over 2. It would be 31.5. So this is the 60th percentile. A company has vacancies for 2 executives that need to be filled by 3 women and 5 men. Okay, so 2 positions, we need to fill 2 positions, and we have to fill that position, we have to choose from 3 women and 5 men. Okay, what is the probability that no woman will be selected? No woman will be selected means the first one is a man. So what is the probability that the first person is a man? How many men are there? 5 out of what? Out of 3 women, 5 men, so out of 8. So this is the probability that the first person is a man. Now, no woman means the second is also a man. What is the probability that the second is a man? Okay, we selected 1, so we still have 7, and we selected a man, so still we have 4 men. So this would be the answer, 5 over 8 times 4 over 7, and if you put it in the calculator, it would be approximately 0.357. So this experiment we have, the first position would be filled by a man or woman, and the second position, man and a woman, man and a woman. So this is exactly selecting 2 coins, but the probability is not the same because the number of men is different from the number of women. But the sample space MM, MW, WM, WW. See, he was asking here about probability of MM. Both are men. What is the probability that at least 1 woman? At least 1 woman means 1 woman or 2 women. So probability of 1 woman plus probability of 2 women. And this would be 1 minus probability of 0 women because we only have 3 possibilities, either 0 woman or 1 woman or 2 women because we have 2 positions only. So it is 1 minus 0 women means the position is filled by 2 men. So it is in fact this probability that we found in part A. So it's 1 minus 0.357, and the answer would be 0.643. In a group of 100 students, 40 students play football, 30 students play basketball, 20 play both. So 40 play football, 30 play basketball, 20 play both football and basketball. The total is 100. 40 plus 30, 70 plus 20, 90, and we still have 10, neither football nor basketball. Okay, if a student is chosen randomly and plays football, so we know that he plays football. What is the probability he also plays basketball? So in fact, he means what's the probability of the student is playing basketball given that he's playing football. So it's the probability of the intersection over the probability of F. That's the formula for the conditional probability. So we have 20 over 100, that's 0.2 in the intersection, and if football is 40% or 40 over 100, which is 0.4, so the answer is 0.2 over 0.4, which is 0.5. Suppose a quality manager for a bulb manufacturer inspected a total of 485 bulbs. So the total number of all of these bulbs is 485, and the result is shown. Okay, we have working bulbs, we have defective bulbs, and we have 4 companies. What is the question? What's the probability of randomly selecting a defective bulb? So select 1 bulb at random. What is the probability that the bulb is defective? So probability that the bulb is defective, let us call it DF because we have D here. So this is the defective. Add all of these numbers, 6 plus 4, 10 plus 15, 25 plus 10. So we have 35 defective bulbs over the total number of bulbs, which is 485. So that's the answer. What is the probability that of randomly selecting defective bulb? What is the probability of selecting defective bulb? So probability of DF, given that, so it's again a conditional probability, it was supplied by company B. So what is the probability of defective given B? Since we have a table here, I can solve it in two ways. I can use this formula, same formula like here, but I want to use something else here because I have the table. If he says, what is the probability of defective given B? So I will only concentrate on company B. How many bulbs are supplied by company B? 150 plus 15, that's 165 total of 150 plus 15. And how many of these are defectives? The defectives are 15. So probability defectives given B is actually 15 over 165. So this is the definition of the number of elements in B. Uh, the number of elements in the intersection over the number of elements in B will give you the conditional probability. Consider the discrete probability distribution, calculate the standard deviation. Well, we know that E, we need to find E, which is mu, the expected value is summation x px. So it is 2 times 0.2 plus 9 times 0.25 plus 23 times 0.25. Let me find it. You can, okay, 2 times 0.2 plus 9 times 0.25 plus 23 times 0.55. The answer is 15.3. And this then sigma standard deviation is equal to, by formula, sigma is equal to summation, square root of summation x minus mu squared times probability of x. So x are these values. So I need to find 2 minus, so it would be like this. It would be square root of 2 minus 15.3 squared times 0.2 plus 9 minus 15.3 squared times 0.25 plus, of course, continue. Square root is coming here. 23 minus 15.3 squared times 0.55. And if you use the calculator, you will find that the answer is 8.827. And you can, if you like, you can go to mode stat and press 1 and put these values and make sure the frequency is there and put the frequency, these px as frequencies, and then ask for x bar and sigma, and it will give you the same answer. Suppose that 25% of all home buyers will do some remodeling to their home within the first 5 years of home ownership. Okay. Assuming this is true, use the binomial distribution to determine the probability that fewer than 2 x is less than 2. So x is 0 plus x is 1. In a random sample of 20, this is n. And this is 25%, this is b. So probability of 0 would be c 20, c 0. Okay, this is 20 c 0 times the probability, which is 0.25 to the power 0, times 1 minus 0.25, which is 0.75 to the power 20 minus 0, which is 20, plus P1 would be 21, 20C1, 0.25, which is B to the power 1, and 0.75 to the power 19. If you put it in the calculator, you will find that the answer is 0.0243. So that's the correct answer. Question 7. A bank manager receives an average of 5 daily customer email messages. So 5 daily means this is lambda, should be a Poisson distribution. Yeah, he said, because daily means each day. Assume the number follows Poisson. What is the probability that he will have 2 messages? So he's asking about probability of 2 on a randomly selected day. So daily and day, so lambda is 5, and the segment here t is 1. So probability of 2 would be, we know that the formula, probability of x is e to the power negative lambda t to the power x over x factorial. So lambda times t is 5, so it's e to the power negative 5 times 5 to the power 2 over 2 factorial. And if you put it in the calculator, you will find that the answer is 0.0842, approximately 0.0842. A population is normally distributed with mean and standard deviation. Find the probability that a volume randomly selected from this population will have a value between. So he is asking, this is similar to one of the multiple choice questions. I need to find the probability that x is between 28.5 and 340. So I need to change it to z, the standardized normal. So 28.5 minus the mean, which is 300, over 25, which is the standard deviation, less than z, less than 340, minus 300 over 25. Use the calculator and choose the round to two decimal places if you need to round. There is no rounding here. You will get negative zero point 0.6 and 1.6 directly. Now to get this probability from the Z table, which we have, I need the probability from negative zero point 0.6 to 1.6. So I need both this one and this one. So it's from 0 to 1.6 plus from 0 to 0.6. So I need to look at 0.6 and 1.6. Let us go to the distribution, the table. 0.6 is 0.2, 0.2, 0.2257. 0.2257 plus 1.6, which is this one, 0.4452. So if you want, you can write and add, or you can just write the final answer as you wish. So I'll write it 2257 plus 0.4452, and the final answer would be 0.6709. This is the answer of question 8. Assume that a random variable has a distribution with a mean 43 and standard deviation 11. A random sample of 49 is chosen. Calculate the probability that the sample mean, the sample mean is between 45 and 46. So the sample mean is x bar. So we need to find the probability that x bar is between 45 and 46. Well, to find this probability, we need to change x bar to z. And to change x bar to z, z is x bar minus mu over sigma over square root of n. So this would be probability of 45 minus mu, which is 43, over sigma, which is 11, over square root of 49, which is 7, less than z, less than 46, minus 43 over 11 over 7, using the calculator. And here I'll need to round to two decimal places because the table works only with two decimal places. So I'll have 1.27 less than z less than 1.91. And now how to find this probability from the table. I have here two positive numbers. So this is the table, and this is 0, and this is, for example, 1.27, and this is 1.91. I need this area. But I cannot have this area because the table gives me only this area from 0 to 1.91. So I'll have the probability, I'll have the area from 0 to 1.91 minus the area from 0 to 1.27 I will get this one. Okay, so I look to 1.91, 1.91, this number. Okay, this is 1.9, so 0.4719, 0.4719, and then minus, I look to 1.27. So this is 1.2. If I go to 7, this is 7. So this is 1.27, 0.398 minus 0.398, and then I'll get the answer. So here the answer is 0.4719 minus 0.3980, and using the calculator, the answer is 0.0739. I told you in previous videos how to find this using the calculator, so you can also do that using the calculator. Given a population with a probability of success, if a sample of 600 items, calculate the probability that the proportion of success in the sample will be between. So he's asking about probability that sample proportion, which is B hat, is B bar is less than between 0.63 and 0.66. And to find this probability, we have to change it to Z. This is B, the population proportion. So we know that Z is B bar minus B over square root of B times 1 minus B over N. This is the formula for Z. So it is probability of 0.63 minus B, which is 0.65 over square root of 0.65 times 1 minus 0.65, which is 0.35 over 600, which is N, less than Z. When you change B bar to Z, less than 0.66 minus 0.65 over square root of 0.65 times 0.35 over 600. You use the calculator, and if needed, choose the first two decimals, round to the first two decimals. It would be negative 1.03 and 0.51. Okay, then how we find this from the table? I think we know now. We look to 0.51 and we add it to 1.03. We find the two probabilities from the table, add them. The answer would be 0.5435. Please check that from the table. The heights of a random sample of 64 college students showed a mean of, so this is a sample, so this is X bar, and the standard deviation, so this is S. Find 95% confidence interval for the mean of all college students. Well, confidence interval for mu would be X bar plus or minus Z times S over square root of N, because the population here is above 30, it is 64. So Z is the critical value. Here he's asking for 95%. 95% confidence interval means this area is 95. Well, I need to find this Z. So it would be enough if I find this area because the table gives me this area and Z. So 0.95 over 2, and look at it in the table, 0.95 over 2 or 0.475. This should be a known number because it is repeated a lot, but let us look 0.475 inside 71377, so 75 would be inside, would be here. This is 0.475, so the number is 1.96. So the critical value is 1.96. This Z is 1.96. So X bar is 172 plus or minus 1.96 times S, which is standard deviation, which is 6, over square root of n. What is n? 64. So 64. So square root of 64 is just 8. So this would be 172. If you calculate this, you will find it 1.47. So the confidence interval is 172 minus 1.47, which is 170.53, and 172 plus 1.47, which is 173.47. So this is the 95% confidence interval. A company, this is the last question, a company experiences an average of 4, so this is lambda weekly network per week, so it should be a Poisson, weekly network failures. So 4 failures per week. So lambda is 4 failures per week. Using Poisson distribution, find the probability that the company experiences at least one failure. So x equals 1 or 2 or 3, so x is greater than or equal to 1 failure, and this would be 1 minus probability of x less than 1, which is 0. So it would be 1 minus the formula for Poisson distribution, lambda t. What is t here? At least one failure on a given day. So t, one segment would be day 1/7, because lambda weekly, but this is one day, so it's 1/7 because we have 7 days in a week. So lambda times t would be 4/7. So e to the power negative 4/7 times 4/7 to the power 0 over 0 factorial. So it is in fact 1 minus e to the power negative 4/7, because this is 1 and this is 1. So that's the answer. If you want to write it approximately using the calculator, is 0.4353. This was the last question. I hope you enjoyed solving this exam, and I wish you the best in your final exam.